The meeting of G20 leaders in Rio de Janeiro wrapping up with calls for an end to ongoing wars in Gaza and Ukraine, now 1,000 days since Russia began its invasion in 2022. The group agreeing to a written statement called the Communiqué, affirming its commitment to a two-state solution in the Middle East and increased support for Ukraine, but without even mentioning the word Russia. The Prime Minister saying he would have preferred sharper language that addressed the effect of the war on oil prices and food supply.
Yeah, I would have wanted to say things a lot stronger than in that communique, and I know a lot of my colleagues from G7 and advanced economies would have wanted that too.
Russia is a member of a G20 that is divided over U.S. President Joe Biden's decision to greenlight Kyiv's use of American-made missiles to strike targets in Russian territory. The first were fired today. After meeting with Biden, Trudeau backed the decision.
Ukraine hasn't been able to strike on factories and military production sites in Russia. We have called for that for a while, so I think it's a good thing that the United States has done that.
Meanwhile, worries about global trade under incoming President Donald Trump hung over the summit and Trudeau's meeting with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. The premiers of Ontario and Alberta recently called on Canada to drop Mexico from future trade talks with the Trump administration. Trudeau not ruling that out, but still committed to the three-way USMCA pact.
I highlighted some of the concerns that have been expressed publicly by a number of people around some of the investments in Mexico, but I also know that Mexico is dedicated to continuing in this extraordinarily successful trade deal.
Trade uncertainty and Trump's return to the White House creating a possible opening for China. President Xi Jinping had a brief, informal chat with Trudeau earlier in this 6-day trip to South America, signaling a possible thaw in chilled relations.
I highlighted that it was a good thing that our ministers were starting to meet more regularly and working together on issues to resolve and to advance our relationship in a way that that is right for us.
Ties with India also still tense, but at a group photo today, Biden appeared to pull Trudeau together with Indian leader Narendra Modi.
This was potentially Trudeau's last major international summit, depending on the timing and the outcome of the next federal election. He's promised that action on climate change will be the theme when Canada is due to host the G7 meeting next year. But it's uncertain if he will still be summit host when Donald Trump and other G7 leaders gather in Kananaskis, Alberta in June. Glen McGregor, City News, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.